Hi, I'm Brian Felsen. I'm president of BookBaby. BookBaby converts and formats authors' works and distributes them to all the major platforms for ebooks, such as the iPad, Kindle, Sony e-reader, Barnes & Noble Nook, and soon Kobo Books. And then we pass on, they're available in all the bookstores and then the ebook stores, and we pass on 100% of the profits to the author. But I'm not here to talk about BookBaby. I'm here to talk about fame, fortune, and the independent author. So basically, how to, if you're going to self-distribute, how to market yourself and how to get yourself known. It's very easy to release your own book nowadays, but the hard problem is cutting through all the noise. There's millions and millions of books out there, and a lot of people, authors, are charging. I just went to a romance convention. They were charging $2.66 for their works on Kindle, because you're not only trying to compete with all of the books that are out there in the marketplace, but there's also the risk that reading becomes just another app. On the iPad and soon on the Kindle, you not only have all the other books to compete with, but you also, you're just one click away, as Cory Doctorow says, from watching somebody stuff lemons up their nose on YouTube or playing Angry Birds. So you need to create an immersive experience for your reader to keep them there, but you need to find them in the first place. And whose responsibility is it to be found? It's yours. It's the author's responsibility in all cases. If you're looking for representation, if you're looking to get an agent, if you're looking to be published, the first thing that they want, aside from some confidence that you're going to have some degree of talent, is you're going to need to have brought your own platform. Do you have an audience? Do you have a niche? Do you have a fan base already? You're going to have to bring that before they even want you. And if you have representation, you still need to bring the platform. You still need to market yourself. Ask any author who's been published. Publishers do not necessarily promote well, and it's incumbent on the author to do so. And if you're leaving traditional publishing, you're going to have to promote. You're going to have to engage your fan base, and you're going to have to bring the platform. So when you're competing with all these additional books in the marketplace, when you're competing with Angry Birds and Plants vs. Zombies, you have to ask yourself, what is your USP? What is your unique selling proposition? Why should people pay attention to you? Why should you pay attention to me? Why should anybody focus on anything? And there's a couple reasons. One is that you're an outlier. You're just so completely amazing that you're off the charts. And another is that the person who's going to see you or give you their attention sees that you have a clear and compelling idea, such as something brilliant like sticking a lemon up your nose. And also, it helps if they know who you are. So many artists, even the great, famous, and immortal ones, they're prolific, and it's incumbent, like on romance writers, if they don't release 4 books a year, their audience is going to wander away. And then often they're predictable. They repeat themselves. Chuck Close, Andy Warhol, Philip Glass, and tons of authors people instantly understand the brand and know who they are. And the authors that don't repeat themselves, they're outliers. I mean, David Foster Wallace could write a book about boredom, a book about anything, but he's a brand, but he will meditate on a different subject for each book. But he's an outlier. He's a genius. And then finally, one way for people to give you their attention is to corner a niche that's underserved. To really, if there's a niche that is not, it does not have what you have to offer, that's important. So what's your niche? Let's say you're writing a book about Jell-O art. So, you have to find your niche. Where's your niche? Okay, so the first thing, you should look for Jell-O art organizations and find all the Jell-O art making magazines. And go to events and conferences. There must be conferences for them. You should find them and promote yourselves at them. There's blogs, there's forums, websites. Do searches on Twitter. You can search by hashtag. You can search by topic. You can do Google searches for it. And then finally, Amazon book reviews. One way, I just had dinner with a writer in Cambridge, and he was asking me afterwards, because I loved his book, he was asking me, please review it on Amazon. And I realized that if you review books on Jell-O art making on Amazon, the other people who will search for that author, sign it, put in your website, they will find you as well, and you can engage with not only the author, but the other commenters. Now, the first place for you to start on the web and promoting your work is your website. You need to have a hub. Your website needs to be your hub from which you engage your fans and sell your product. And the hub needs to push out to the social networks. You can't ignore the social networks, but you can't just rely on the social network. You need to actually push information out to Twitter and Facebook, but you can pull it in as well. You can bring in Twitter feeds from all the other things on your topic and all the other great Jell-O artists out there. Website's a good place to have a blog, to continually be in the face of your visitors and to engage with them. And you can do Google alerts. If you're doing Google alerts for your name to see who's retweeting about you, who's writing about you, you should also do Google alerts for your website. So that way, because some people will link to something on your blog or on your website but not mention you by name. And on your site, you can give away free chapters or write a little bit about the process, but you can also sell direct to the fan. And we're releasing in a couple weeks websites for authors, which will enable people to sell their works on the website or put links to all the major ebook stores. And finally, you want on your website, it's imperative that you capture their information. You want to capture, if you sell a book on Amazon, you don't know who bought it. I mean, they own the information. Now, you want to be on Amazon because that's the watering hole where all of the people go. But on your website, if you can sell on your website, it's much better because you get to find out who bought it. You get to find out who visited. So you should put an email capture widget and an offer like, hey, join my mailing list, or I'll give you a newsletter, I'll give you some free bonus content if you sign up. Now on your website, once you get people to your website, which is your central hub, you need to engage your fans. So how do you create an engaging experience on the website? The website shouldn't be all about you. The website's not a newspaper. A website is a place where people go to find out things that are interesting to them. So you want to provide them with something special. Provide them with exclusive content they can't get anywhere. You can serialize your novel, or so you can just put little chapters and they keep coming back. But you can also give them something which they can't really get anywhere else, which is an interaction with you. And you can open the creative process. I mean, artists by nature, this is sort of difficult because artists by nature are introverts, but the process of self-promoting, you have to kind of be extroverted, which is why it's kind of easier for rock musicians than it is for authors, but it's something that you have to do. So you can ask questions about things about your work, solicit feedback on where things should go, characters. You can even put a video of the creative process, or video of yourself writing, or your local or your writing desk, and you can even do live streaming or readings. And finally, you can sell directly to the reader. In this age of social networking, getting lots of Facebook friends is really important, but email is still king. Now, email sounds very 10 years ago, but the response that we and our authors find from email and newsletters is many times higher than they'll ever get from people just liking them on social networks. And in your email newsletters, you're not just broadcasting, but you're asking them for you're giving them information, and you're announcing upcoming events, and you're giving them things that'll help them. And the main thing is to engage with them and not just spam them. Now for social networks, so that's your website. Now it's pushing out to Twitter and to Facebook. You need to be active on Twitter and Facebook. Now how do you do that? The first thing is study the leaders. Who are the leaders? Who are the best Jell-O art makers in the world? Copy them. Because as the book publishing expert Penny Sansevieri says, success leaves clues. So whatever other people are doing right, you should do too. And if you have heroes in the field, network with them. In the web, you can get to know them, engage them, retweet their things, retweet their posts, ask them questions. There are plenty of book blogger sites, and you can just link to them and retweet them and get to know the people commenting on the other blogs, get to know the people whose sites there are. And above all, it's not about broadcasting. It's not about, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing. It's about interaction. So it's better to have 100 dedicated followers or 1,000 than tens of thousands of people you're just kind of spamming and broadcasting to, because they'll just unfriend you, they'll unfollow you, It's about listening and learning and participating and adding to the conversation. Because building a buzz is above all about community trust, and it's about people referring other people. Now, the exemplar of self-publishing, the big hero, is Amanda Hocking, who made a ton of money. Does everyone here, have you guys heard of Amanda Hocking? She novelist. She had released a lot of books by herself, I think maybe a dozen, and her last one, she promoted the heck out of it on a book blogger site. It struck a chord, and she sold 900,000 copies at $2.99 each. And she kept 70% of it. Amazon, iBookstore, they keep 30%, and that works out to something like $1.5 million. I mean, she basically won the lottery. And a lot of people are going the route of self-distribution, partly for that reason. You get to keep all the money that you earn. And Barry Keating, a famous author, he just decided to go the self-distribution route. But there are a couple problems with this. One is that you're probably not an outlier. By definition, an outlier is somebody who's a completely off-the-charts oddball, and you're probably not one. You may be. Everybody lives in their own head and in their own narrative and wants to think they can be, and maybe if you hone your craft or promote or are lucky, you will have outlier success, but the odds are against you. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't make art and be creative and be amazing. It means that you can't just say, the odds are great that I'm going to be her. And one of the punchlines of the whole Amanda Hocking story is that Amanda Hocking no longer wants to be Amanda Hocking. She's sick of having to continually just promote and self-promote all the time, and she signed with a major publisher. So what should you do until you become Amanda Hocking? Or even if you don't become Amanda Hocking, how can you make a living at this? The first thing is to beware of exploitative companies. Exploitative in America, exploitative here. But the point is that there are a lot of companies that are betting and gambling and preying upon your hope, because there's more hope in this business than there is talent. So just beware of them. Look at what their deal is and see how much money they want up front for what? For you to make thousands of books on a vanity press that you can prop up a coffee table with? I mean, you should find out where your money is going. And then also try and make money wherever you can. Try and sell your work, sell it for less money, sell it for more money. Try different editions, try print on demand, try digital, and sell merch. Just sell whatever you can. And finally, there's no shame in taking money from other sources and still being a writer. People say, all the people would say, don't quit your day job, kid. And that sounds like a disparaging thing to say, but it's actually, if taken literally, it is very positive. There's no reason to quit your day job. Society doesn't owe you, as an artist or as an author, a living. There are people picking strawberries in the hot sun in California, migrant workers who are barely making enough money to survive, let alone send home to their families. You're getting to be an author and do what gets you off all day. You're not owed by society to become rich off of it. If you're here in the London Book Fair listening to me, you're not starving to death. So make money however you make money, earn your keep, and don't stop making art. And there are rewards to this game. I mean, you may or may not have health insurance. If you're in America and you're an author, the odds are you don't. But there's a sense of bravery of being an author, of putting your work out there, being naked in front of everyone, and a sense of exhilaration of making something truly beautiful and truly original. So I guess on the first slide, what I said is that you're competing for attention, that the attention of the reader is what's precious, that content has become commoditized. But the same goes for you as an author. That your most precious commodity is time. Is time to do your work while still making a living, time to do your work while still promoting, time to do your work before you drop dead. And you've got a limited amount of time on this planet, and you've got to focus. And some things are worth doing yourself and some aren't. Is writing worth doing yourself? Yes. Don't subcontract out your writing. Is promoting worth doing yourself? Well, until you become a multinational corporation that can hire people to tweet on your behalf, and even then will they be able to tweet in your own voice? No, you should promote yourself, focus on your core, and create your own website. It's very easy to do that. And that you should do yourself. Whereas technology, the only reason to worry about formatting, distribution, delivery, and accounting of making an ebook is if you're Shirley MacLaine and you're damn sure you're going to be reincarnated. If you're not entirely positive that reincarnation is in the cards, then don't spend your precious time learning about the ins and outs of the EPUB 3 format and metadata and XML. It's not worth it. Go make something beautiful. So finally, what does all this mean? The heat death of the universe. There's the Earth and the solar system are a little over 4.5 billion years old, and mankind has only been here for a couple hundred centuries. And this is our moment in the sun. This is we're standing on the shoulders of centuries of collected wisdom, and we have more consciousness and understanding of how the mind works, and better able to articulate and communicate than we ever have in the history of the galaxy. So don't waste your time worrying about nonsense. Hone your talent, learn to speak articulately, and add something to the conversation. If you're self-releasing, you're adding to the noise in the marketplace. Say something important, say something beautiful, and say something articulately. And you don't need, everybody seen The Wizard of Oz? Has everyone seen The Wizard of Oz? Yes. So you don't need a major publisher. You don't need 100,000 fans to tell you that you have a heart or courage or a brain. The gatekeepers are falling away. You don't need to be blessed or anointed to say you exist, you're legitimate, you have a point of view, you have something beautiful to say. So it's very liberating time, and it's an amazing time. So hone your craft, go out there and be weird, be amazing, be yourselves, because you can write great books about Jello art. I guess that's all I have to say. You can reach me, ask questions, and talk anytime. Follow us on Twitter at BookBaby or on my Twitter, and we've got a blog, and we're here to help. Thanks.